Good morning, this is Jim, 5714 Collector, bringing you another video on Sunday morning. We're doing the part 18 of the 1972 Topps baseball card set. It's Sunday morning, hot and humid in Northern Virginia, so we're going to have a pretty hot week coming up. Looks like we're going to hit 100 degrees, I think, starting tomorrow for a couple days, so it should be nice and warm up here. But we're going to do cards number 266 to 275 this morning. And before we do that, I want to take a quick minute to thank Jay Pylon. He made me a couple of custom cards, which I will show later this week. Maybe Wednesday or Thursday. I've got a couple over here I would like to show. And when I do my next video, I'll make sure I do that. But we're going to start with card number 266, which is Bobby Bowen here with the Red Sox. Show the back of that card, and we'll talk about Bobby a little bit. So Bobby pitched 13 seasons in the major leagues, the bulk of those with the San Francisco Giants. He pitched in 495 games lifetime, 164 starts. He was 88 and 75, and he had 51 lifetime saves. So he was a starter and a reliever, which is pretty cool. In 1968, he finished second in the National League in ERA. Now, of course, that's the year Bob Gibson had a 1.12 ERA. And he finished with a 1.99, so he had a nice season. Year of the pitcher, right? Also that year, on September 6, 1968, Bobby Bowen beat Bob Gibson 3-2 while pitching 7 2/3 innings, just giving up 2 earned runs. So that was one of the games that Bob Gibson, one of the 9 that he lost that season. So that's pretty cool. And he got a save in his last major league appearance on September 30th, 1973. A pretty cool way of going out and finishing out your career, if you ask me. So card number 267. That's the second year card of Dave Concepcion, shortstop, obviously, for the Reds. Great player, member of the Big Red Machine. Show the back of that. And he had a great career and all that. He played 19 seasons, had 2,326 hits, and 321 stolen bases. He should have been given more consideration for the Hall of Fame. And really, probably should probably be in the Hall of Fame. On July 5th, 1973, he had his first 5-hit game, and he drove in the winning run in that game. Also, he had a 2-run home run off Dennis Eckersley in the 82 All-Star game, and he was named MVP, and he was a 5-time Gold Glove winner. So again, he should have been given more consideration for the Hall of Fame. He's one of those guys that really, if you put him in, he's certainly not the worst player in the Hall of Fame. No, just my opinion. So card number 268 is the Oakland Athletics rookie card. And we'll show the back of that. Oh, love those, I'll call them lime green hats that they wore back in the 70s and all that. They're cool looking hats. Just kind of a neat looking hat. I like that. So we have Dwayne Anderson and Chris, and I don't know how you say this last name, Floth maybe, but Dwayne Anderson made his major league debut on September 3rd, 1971 with Oakland, and he went 2 for 5 and scored a run. He had a single in his last major league at bat on May 28, 1974 off of Jim Schellenbach. And I think Schellenbach pitched for the Senators at that time, or the Rangers it would be. Now, Chris Floth, if I'm saying that right, he pitched 7 years in the minors, going 30 and 51, and he led the Southern League in strikeouts with 225 in 1971, and he never played a day in the major leagues. But he does have a baseball card, so that's pretty cool. Got to give him credit. That's pretty awesome. And card number 269 is Don Hahn, here with the New York Mets, and he was a center fielder. I'll show the back of that. Get my finger out of the way there. Everybody can see that. That's kind of cool. So he was the starting center fielder for Montreal in their first game in franchise history on April 8th, 1969 against the Mets. This was his major league debut. That's pretty awesome. He was the Mets starting center fielder in the 73 World Series, and he had 7 hits, including a double and a triple in the World Series. So had a pretty good World Series that year. So very good player in his own right. And the only Hall of Famer of the 10 cards this morning Number 270, the great Jim Palmer, Baltimore Orioles pitcher, of course. 8-time 20-game winner. He won a World Series game in the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s. He won 268 lifetime games with 152 losses. So, very, very cool looking card. 3-time Cy Young Award winner. And just a beautiful card there. And we'll talk about Mr. Palmer a little bit. Now, he signed with the Orioles for $50,000. That's pretty cool. That's back in 1964, I think, if I remember right. His first major league win came in relief on May 16th, 1965 against the Yankees. He also hit a home run in that game off the Jim Bouton, the author of Ball 4. So that's pretty cool. And pretty much everybody knows this, but we'll talk about it real quick. He pitched in Game 2 of the 66 World Series against the great Sandy Koufax and beat Koufax 6-0. That was Sandy Koufax's last major league game. So Game 2 of the 66 World Series, the great Jim Palmer beat the great Sandy Koufax. So there's Mr. Palmer's card. Again, we'll show the back. So he just had a fantastic career with the Orioles. Of course, he's still around. Up here in Virginia, Maryland, the Delaware area, we can watch Masson, the Mid-Atlantic Sports Network, and Jim Palmer's the color commentator on quite a few games during the season for the Orioles. So he's still announcing, and I believe, if I remember right, he's 80 years old. So he's still doing the thing and all that, and really fun to listen to. And I have his autograph over here on a baseball and all that. I'll have to show that sometime. And I thought that would be kind of neat. Maybe we'll do that. And so we'll see. Card number 271 is Ken Rudolph here with the Cubs. And we'll show the back. Pretty awesome card. And Ken Rudolph, he played 9 major league seasons, most of them with the Cubs. From 1972 to 1974, he had over 100 at-bats each of those years. And during those 3 seasons, he had a total of 101 Major League Baseball hits. And he had 6 career home runs and 743 at-bats. So he was a backup catcher during that time, of course, with the Cubs. So number 272 is the rookie card of Mickey Rivers, who had a solid Major League Baseball career. Very, very good player, Mickey Rivers. Very fast. Played a couple years with the Yankees, too, later on, and played on their championships teams in 77 and 78. He led the American League in triples 2 times and stolen bases once. In 1975, when he stole 70 bases, it was the most in the American League since Ty Cobb stole 96 in 1915. So the American League didn't have any heavy-duty stolen base leaders in those eras, other than Louis Aparicio. If I remember right, Louis Aparicio led the American League in stolen bases 9 seasons in a row. Okay, so he drove in the winning run in the deciding game of the 1977 American League Championship Series. That's kind of a cool accomplishment. And in 1980 with the Rangers, he hit .333 and had 210 hits. So that's pretty cool. So he had 630 at-bats that season. Pretty awesome. Like I said, he had a really good career. So card number 273 is Bobby Floyd. And of course, he played with the Orioles early on. If I remember right, he signed with the Orioles too. He was a utility infielder throughout his career. And he fielded the final out in Jim Palmer's no-hitter on August 13th, 1969 against the Oakland Athletics. So that's kind of cool. If I remember right, Palmer walked like 8 batters in that game. I did not officially look that up, but if I remember right, he had 8 walks, and I think they won like 8-0. But that's pretty cool. That's going to be a big highlight in your career to field the final out. In 1968, he got his first major league hit, and that was a double and came off Sam McDowell. And he was a reserve infielder all season for the 1969 Orioles. And in that season, he played in 39 games. He had 84 at-bats with 17 base hits. So that's pretty cool. Now, card number 274 is Al Severinsen. And this is another Oriole product. Early on in his career, he pitched for the Orioles. Now, I do know that. I think he went to San Diego in the Tom Phoebus trade. I'd have to go back and double check that. So, but that's Al Severinsen. And we'll talk about him a little bit. In 1969, he made his major league debut against the Yankees on July 1st. He pitched 2 1/3 innings and received a no decision in the game. He won his first major league game on September 10th. 1969, he did that with 2 1/3 scoreless innings against the Red Sox. He had 8 saves for the 1971 San Diego Padres, and his record lifetime was 3 wins and 7 defeats. So, had a short Major League Baseball career, but still, you know what? What a great accomplishment to, even play in the major leagues. So, when I go in and look at Baseball Reference, which I want to make sure I shout it out because I always do, Baseball Reference as the Society for American Baseball Research, where people write, so you can, do some research on that. And and I think the other one's the Bullpen Review. But I go down and look at the stats, see how many All-Star games they make and all that. Did they win the batting title? Did they lead the league in doubles or some significant category and all that? But Baseball Reference is a great tool. So, and the last card today is Cesar Tovar here with the Minnesota Twins, number 275. And he had a really nice career, too. I'll show the back of Mr. Tovar's card. And so he accomplished something cool, too. So Bert Campaneris was the first major league player in history to play all 9 positions in a game. Okay, Cesar Tovar was the second. On September 22nd, 1968, he became the second major league player to play all 9 positions in a game. And he struck out future Hall of Famer Reggie Jackson in that game. And what's funny, when I was looking at Baseball Reference, Bert Campaneris was the first batter he faced in the first inning. So that's pretty cool. So on May 18th, 1969, Rod Carew and Cesar Tovar both stole home in the 3rd inning against the Tigers. Now, I don't know how many times teammates have stolen home in an inning and all that, but Rod Carew and Cesar Tovar did that, so that's pretty cool. Also, in 1970, he led the American League in doubles and triples, and he scored 120 runs. So, very solid season. And, of course, that year they won the American League West, and that's when Minnesota was in the Western Division and all that, because when they split the divisions and split the teams up after the 68 season, Minnesota went to the American League West, and they won the West in 1969 and 1970. And, of course, if you're scoring 120 runs, I know he was the leadoff hitter, and also you had Killebrew, Oliva, and Carew behind you. So now you had some heavy-duty hitting behind you. So anyway, that's it for this week for part 18 of the 72 Topps baseball card set. I hope everybody enjoyed that. Next week, of course, we'll do part number 19. I got the index cards, got the players written out already, and I'll start doing my research for that. And I will probably do a video probably Wednesday or Thursday this week and show the cards I got from Jay Pylon. And again, I want to thank him. I appreciate everybody taking time out of their busy morning and taking a look at the 72 Topps set. This is obviously a lot of fun. Enjoy doing the research, and I get a lot of positive comments. So thank everybody for watching, commenting, and I hope everybody has a great Sunday. And we will talk to you later on this week. Take care. Bye-bye.